the fuck back to another episode of Two Scrippers, One Pole. It has been it's been over a year since my last episode, and that wasn't on purpose. If you follow me on Instagram, which if you don't, you need to, at Two Scrippers, One Pole, that is 2SKRIPPAS, 1POLE. Um, yeah, I've been lying like shit. I've been saying I'm gonna come back. I'm gonna make episode. I'm gonna make episode. And actually, I did. I did record an episode. At the time of this recording, it is December 4th. Yes, December 4th, 2025. The last time I released the episode was like November, I think the day of the elections, 2024. And I had recorded that episode in October. And then I have been saying like, oh, I'm gonna release an episode. I'm gonna release an episode. I did actually record an episode like mid-November 2024, but then I decided not to release it. Because then I just kept sitting on it, and then I was like, but it's time. Like by this point, it's no reason. And then I keep coming back saying like, oh, I'm gonna make an episode. I'm gonna make an episode. I'm gonna make an episode. Y'all, like big things are happening. Big things are happening. And then I don't release the episode. Charge it to my head, not my heart. Okay. It's been a minute since I did this. So, and I think one of the main reasons that's been is because like so many things have been happening. I mean, it has been over a year, so I would hope that so many things have been happening. And it's like, I don't want to say bad things, but a lot of like really, really good things. And then a lot of like, damn. Because I'm a firm believer in everything happens for a reason. And so I don't want to say they're bad, but they've definitely made me like have to like open my eyes up and like be an adult about things and like figure out what the fuck is even going on. So y'all, look at my nails. I got notes. My notebook, words. So y'all know, because I be rambling, and I don't know how long this video is gonna be. In my head, I was like, oh, I'm gonna do like a 30-minute check-in, but the camera's on, and I just started yapping. And so, it's been a long time. We have a lot to catch up on. I will say that I'm definitely not back yet, but I felt like I've been promising y'all an episode for the longest. Um, I wanted to do like a wellness check, proof of life type video, and just kind of give you, I guess, the 2025 update of what the fuck has been happening. So the last time before I get on that, I was talking about my notes. So my notebook, y'all know, because I be yapping. So at first I was like I was taking notes on like sticky notes, and I was like, let me get a notebook to like keep all my thoughts together. And I barely used that notebook, and it was already falling apart. So that's just a little crazy to me. That notebook is in storage. So, and this was a very impromptu, like I was recording content for my spicy sites, and I didn't intend on recording this, but I was like, you know what? Fuck it. I'm feeling good. I've been saying I'm gonna do this. Look at my hair, y'all. Long hair. Don't motherfucking care. I did it myself. Oh, all right, y'all. Like my hair comes down to here now. The last time that I recorded, my hair was probably like up here. Yeah, probably give or take a few inches, but it's down here. Like, really, it's down here. It touched my nipple. um. Okay, yeah. So the last time we talked, because I've also been trying to go back and listen to old episodes and like see what came true or what, just then versus now. Because what the podcast is what now, two going on 3 years, or is it three going on four? It was 22. It was 22. So it's 3 years going on four. Is that right? I feel like y'all taught art, not math. But the point is it's been a minute. But yeah, so I was trying to see like what, as I prepare to come into season 3, what do I want to just stop talking about that's no longer relevant, or what do I want to expand on, or what do I just kind of want to update on? Because there's a lot of things that I just said aimlessly that happened or didn't, or happened and was just like, Yeah, they just happened. So, I know for sure the last episode that I recorded and posted, I was talking about the law of attraction. I'm pretty sure I did. Um, and so I've been on a law of attraction rabbit fucking hole this past year, like real bad. And I'm gonna just say to anybody that ends up in that rabbit hole, may the forces be with you. I don't even watch Star Wars, but I hope that you are divinely guided and protected as you go down that rabbit hole, because it's amazing. It definitely life is so wonderful and so spectacular. But then it's like, damn. And I guess the easiest way, sorry if I'm stuffy, y'all, because actually one of the things I wanted to talk about, I should probably get my pen so I can like cross off things so I don't keep coming. I'll be right back. Okay. I got a highlighter instead of a pen, but either way. So, um, where was I? It was definitely on here because that's what made me get up. Um, Sneezing. That's where I was going. So, if I'm stuffy, because I started, I was taken to my adult sites. Let's get there. Let's start there. One thing at a time, Mango. One thing at a time. So, my adult sites, the clips have been clipping, they've been selling, we've been having a good time just like creating. There's so many different, if anybody wants to get into the content creation, adult content creation space, definitely you need discipline, because it's not just as simple as let me set my camera up and record something and post it. Like there's a lot more that goes into that. It is that simple once you get a system that works for you. So for instance, I'm on 4 different sites. Clips for Sale, Loyal Fans, Mini Vids, I Want Clips, and then I'm like on other sites, but those are like my main 4 platforms that I post new clips to every week. Excuse me. And so I've been taking this past year, and that's part of the reason why I took the break too, is like I really want to just focus on like this Dom stuff. Like where is this taking me? Where is Temptress Mango going? And it has been such a fruitful experience. So um yeah, I was like attending a a creators meeting for my clips for sale site, and I guess somebody in the chat was talking about how like they were sick, and somebody else was like, you better set up that camera because sneezing and coughing is like a thing. And I just kind of like made the mental note, right? Like I knew that, but I didn't really know that. And so every once in a while I'll wake up and have sneezing fits to the point where I'll sneeze for like 10 minutes straight, just like achoo, achoo, achoo when I wake up in the morning. And so one day that happened and I'm sneezing and I was like, wait a minute, grab the fucking camera, bitch. So I grabbed it and I caught like the last 3 minutes of it. So I edited, I made like the little clip cover or whatever, and I posted on my sites. Y'all, the sneezing motherfuckers, like they came out the woodwork. That is one of my top selling clips, me sneezing. And so why I brought that up too is that it's like, if you want to go into the adult film industry, like it's not just porn, it's not just like crazy stuff, it's not just femdom, like there's mouth fetish. If you literally earlier today, I was recording, I had like colored contacts because I just did a photo shoot. Y'all, I've been doing photo shoots too. But anyway, so I just did a photo shoot and I had like these orangish colored contacts. Eye fetish is a thing. So I literally just sat and stared at the camera for 10 minutes straight, and then I have to edit that video. So it's like really up to your imagination. There's so many different things you could do. Like I have a video that sold where I blew up balloons and then I put them in my shirt, in my pants, in my stomach, and just like tease the camera. There's a video of me, like I got some slime and I was just playing with the slime and smacking it. That's like ASMR. I have several videos of me eating, which will come back up later. Obviously there's foot fetish. You just stick your toes in the camera, like ignore, you can set the camera up, and so there are certain sites that they have their own promo and you just like post or whatever. But as a content creator, you're also building a brand, and that's the part that I say is like the consistency, the discipline. Like, it's not just as simple as, oh, I have a whole bunch of pictures, let me like post them on a site. Oh, I have a whole bunch of random clips. Like, anything, truly anything could be content, but it's also kind of how you put that content out. So if anybody's ever thought about that, like nail fetish, if you get your nails done all the time, you can just make tapping videos, but there's a difference between like you just set your camera up and it's barely well lit and it's like a whole bunch of shit in the background versus like it's clean and polished and looks nice. Not to say though, not to say that there's not a market for shit looking crazy. Because some people want like amateur videos and just like things like that. But anyway, this was not supposed to be about that. That's why I already knew like this about to be a yap session for real. Because y'all, we need to catch the fuck up. So okay, I kind of mentioned the sneeze. Well, kind of I did mention that. So that's why I'm stuffy. That's how we got there. But back to the law of attraction rabbit hole. I was talking about like, oh, I'm gonna be a multimillionaire and I'm gonna do this and I'm gonna do it. And baby, it's still coming. The plans that God and I have been co-creating, which is also interesting. I was like, speaking of God, I've been going to church. I own a Bible now. I've never owned a Bible in my life, and my Bible is my baby. I be in there like, highlighting stuff, taking notes. Um, Going to churches as of recent. I actually went to church. I think it's all a blur, but I want to say it was earlier this year. I went with shout out Big Tal. I went with her to her church, and then recently in the past like month or so, I've started like actively going to church. So I've just been like, all right, like, and I've talked about it before that I know that I'm on the right path, even though it could be considered very unconventional, and that's kind of what I've been like dealing with this past year. Um, is really stepping into this next chapter. Like I've spent this past year being more intentional about the spaces that I enter. So I've been going to a lot more femdom events, and things that are centered around female domination. Instead of going to like lifestyle events or just like BDSM parties. I want to be in the spaces that value female dominance or fem dominance. And shout out Mistress Bad Bitch, shout out Mistress Marley, because I've been going to mostly their events. I'll be going to a femdom high tea event in Atlanta, and like next week actually, which may or may not still, it probably, by the time I post this, it'll either be the same week or after. So just know we lit. But that's hosted by OG Tierra Doll. I'm really excited about that. So she's celebrating the 1 year of her dungeon being open. So that's really exciting. Um, but yeah, just being really, really intentional about the spaces that I enter as I continue to pour into and invest in Temptress Mango and all that I have planned. Cause y'all, I have so many, I have events planned. I have like offerings that I want to give to the community and to people who are interested in even diving into this, because it can be a lot. It can be a lot. It is a lot. But it's so much fun. Like you have to be willing to lock in and do your research. There's a lot of trial and error. And I really feel like there never stops being any trial and error. Like when I sit and look back at, because now I will be going on 3 years, because I started, no, I'll be, will I be going on 4 years? I don't, everything's a blur. Because I started, let me see, in 2020. So I started in 2022. Was it 2022? Oh my God. No, because I think, okay, I started in 23. I started in 23. So that I will also make the podcast going on 3 years. And then I'll be the Dom journey going on 3 years as well. So as I transition into almost 3 years of both of those, that's where I want it. Because y'all, I think the thought that I didn't finish in terms of like getting close with God is like, and I'm pretty sure that I've mentioned this before, and if I haven't, but ever since the car accidents following what brings me joy or what piques my interest is what has also brought me to God. And so like I remember there was an episode with Juan, shout out Juan, where you know he was talking about, it was like self-care, like mini-so 8 or something. And we were talking about, you know, religion and like the power of I am and all this other stuff. And you know, I think sex work is what has brought me closer to my spirituality. And I can't say that for me, the two are combined. I cannot say that I would have gotten to where I am spiritually without sex work because I don't know. That's the timeline that I'm on. That's just how things played out. So I can't say that it would have happened had I not found sex work, or who knows when it would have happened, if it would have happened. But the way everything has gone, had I not done it, I wouldn't be here where I am with my spirituality. So that is confirmation for me. And I think I think might have talked to, I don't know if I talked about it in that episode or if I've talked about it before, but I know, and something that I still kind of like dabble with is just like, how do I want to say it? I still identify as agnostic, although I am going to church, I am watching sermons, I am like very into the Bible, because there's still some things that the church, I would say, um, may phrase things given all the other stuff. Because I've been like in books. Sidebar, there's a website called Booksprout that lets you get free PDF versions of books in exchange for reviews. So last year, from like November probably to like April, I was using Speechify to help me like read because I was like driving back and forth from school. Um, and all that. I was reading books like nobody's business. In 1 month, I read like 60 books. So that's also back to the law of attraction rabbit hole. Most of the books that I started with were based on law of attraction or like universal principles, or very philosophical. That's the word. Philosophical books. And then I would dabble in like some children's books. I feel like I've been talking for like 30 minutes and it's only been 18. So I still have a lot on here, so I won't say that I'm not gonna be talking for an hour. But yeah, anyway. So like some children's books and pictures books, like there's all types of different books. But when I got on it, and I don't even remember how I found it, but when I got on it, the intention was law of attraction and philosophical books. And I noticed then um that it was interesting that a lot of the books that I was reading were mentioning Bible verses, but they were Bible verses that were like Ecclesiastes and like Proverbs and things that I feel like some of the verses that were shared weren't as um for lack of a better word, tainted. They were easier to digest, and the books that I were reading were talking about, you know, like how religion, particularly Christianity, has been so like demonized and tainted that it's hard for people to even want to digest a Bible verse. And so they would break down those verses in ways that were really interesting. And so um I've also so I still identify agnostic, meaning that like I believe that there's a higher power, but I don't necessarily follow any one religion. And so my connection with like church and Christianity right now is really like ancestor veneration. And so I've talked about when I first set up like my ancestor altar and like hoodoo and everything. So I've been going down that journey and getting closer and like connecting with the earth, and like that bitch is a witch. I'm a witch. And I love to say, like I love that. And I think that there's so much another sidebar. So When I was a kid, there was like a Halloween party at a church of my mom's friends, and I went as a witch. And I had like my all black on. I was so cute, and they were upset. Like they were really mad. They made me take off my hat, and then I had to like they were telling people like they told me to tell people that I was like a pop star or something. But I think like and that example has also been a reason why, and I think a lot of people can resonate with that, is like the hypocrisy within the church, because it's like, okay, why are y'all celebrating Halloween anyway? Let's talk about that. Um, and a lot of like these, specifically hoodoo is ancestor veneration and using like working with the earth and what you have to alchemize the energies around you. Because when you get down to science, it's like everything is energy and energy cannot be created nor destroyed. Um, and so it just like transforms. And so how do we use the elements around us to get the things out of the situations that we want? I didn't plan on going on this rabbit hole, but y'all know when I turn the camera on, whatever the fuck I give y'all, y'all gonna get, okay? Y'all miss me and I miss y'all. Um, so yeah, and I think like to continue on that kind of like note of, oh yeah, that's where I was with the how I'm connecting with the church. So for me, this like connecting with God and reading the Bible, going to church for me is a form of ancestor veneration, because it was in one of the books that I read, and I think I like was speaking to someone who was also very spiritual, and they were talking about how like they also had an affliction with like reading the Bible, going to church and things like that, until they understood that that was what their ancestors knew. So that is how their ancestors are going to communicate with them, because that's what they know. And so then as I like go down family trees, I have learned, and I've lost a couple family members within the past year or so. More recently, my grandmother and some like cousins and some other people. And so it's also made me want to know more about my family history. And a lot of my family was in the church or like had positions in the church. So for me, this is more so about like connecting with them and also just like finding that higher spirit. And I still go with like agnostic, because I still believe in like there's so many concepts from different religions or practices that I hold dear. But that is my religious spirituality rant that I did not intend on necessarily going on, so I can scratch that off. um okay, let me talk about it. um yeah, I feel like I hit those parts that I wanted to do. Yeah, in the episode that I had recorded, oh, that bitch is a witch. So the episode that I had recorded that I never posted, I had started talking about how I had originally started talking because Trump pissed me off, and this is not going to be a rabbit hole about Trump, because fuck that nigga. But um, it was like before he actually like got inaugurated or whatever, he was talking about his plans to like defund education and all that stuff, and I was just really upset about it. And then I started talking about how like the whole reason he won is because niggas can't read. Like my friend sent me this thing, and I can't pull it up, but he was talking about how like legitimately niggas can't fucking read. Like to the point where people like some people cannot read their child a child like a bedtime story. Some people can't even really read their prescriptions. And like reading, let me clarify, reading versus comprehension. You could read something but not understand what the fuck you just read. Okay, we could read all day. Some people legit can't read, and then there's people who can read something but cannot understand and digest and read, teach whatever it was that they just read. So like there's like 1/3 of the country can't even comprehend their prescriptions, meaning that like if you have something that says like take one after eating, some people don't understand like you have to take this medicine after you eat, so you need to eat first. So they'll take the medicine and then eat after, because maybe that's how they read it, and then be wondering why they throwing up or whatever else. So yeah, that's why he won. And so that's why I started that video, was to go on that, because I got really triggered by something he posted. And then I started going down this rabbit hole on astrology, because I think a full moon's coming up, and that's another thing that I've been doing like a really, really big deep dive on, is astrology and planetary energies and all this stuff. So I could really go on a rabbit hole on that, but I'm not. But in that video I was talking about that, and I think it's funny too, because Big Booty Ho Ho Ho, I was talking about like, oh, like, should I do an episode about astrology? Da, da, da. And I was like, oh, I don't know. And I think I might have like even put it as a poll in my story to see like, was anybody interested? And I don't think anybody really was, but just to let you know, when I come back, like the things that I have been researching are definitely informing what I do, and how I'm going to be speaking moving forward. So there definitely be like some consideration of astrology and planetary energy and things like that. But in that video, I was talking about how we're moving into the age of Aquarius. And so Pluto rules Aquarius, and Aquarius is like innovation, and it's a generational thing, so it shifts, I think, every 20 years or something. And so it's like innovation. So that's why you also start to see that so many people are starting to like veer off of like, okay, this structure of the government and other things like really aren't working, or this like idea of the American dream, or this idea of like what it means to be a perfect this, that, or the third isn't really working. And people are starting to kind of just like, what does this mean? Like, what is success for me? What is happiness? What is joy for me? So that's kind of where we're going to. So I was talking about that. And then I was talking about how I've been like taking the time to learn more herbs. I have this book called Plant Witchery by Juliet Diaz. I love that book. And so I've been like diving into that and just diving into all these other things. And jokingly with a friend, he had asked me to like make him some hair oil, since he knew that I was studying herbs. And he was like, he had like said that, it's crazy that you put in this hair oil together for me back in like however many ages ago would have had you burned at the stake for being a witch. Like, that bitch is a witch. And legit, like, that's all it is. It's just learning how to use the elements around you. And I think that's a beautiful thing, like learning to connect with the earth. So hell yeah, I'm a witch. Hell yeah, I'm gonna do some witchy shit. Like, I love the idea of that. But we've demonized that because it's been connected to women. But let me get off my soapbox. I ain't gonna go down that rabbit hole. I got too much to share with y'all. Maybe once I'm back. Okay. Um, so yeah. Yeah. Let's see. So what else want y'all? Raggedy ass Instagram shut down. So originally, y'all know I have like 11 Instagrams. So originally when I first went on this and I was talking about like, oh, I don't know what to do, like visibility and things. And that's also something else, is like transitioning. There's going to be some changes with the podcast, which is part of the reason why I've been hesitant to come back and do an episode, because I'm like, I wanted to make sure the mic was working, because this is a new mic. But hesitant to release an episode because things aren't necessarily where I want them to be as I move into season 3. And kind of just thinking about the structure. And also, I've talked about how my identities are eventually going to be one. And so I really want this, I want to turn Two Scrippers One Pole to be more forward facing for Mango, as opposed to like everything else in my life. And so I've been kind of like trying to figure out how to integrate that. And why did I bring that up? It was something on here. Oh, Instagram. So back in the day, I was talking about like, oh, I don't know what Instagram to use. Like, and I was at the point, I was just going to make a new Instagram, but then Instagram was like, bitch, relax. You already have too many. So I used my lock page and transformed that into my domme page, and everything was going fine. And I think it was because this raggedy ass motherfucker had DM'd me, because I was planning on going to North Carolina, and this raggedy ass nigga had DM'd me talking about some, oh, you fine as shit, or something like that. Like, I'm trying to do a session or something in North Carolina. But the way he came at me was actually crazy as shit. And so I had said like, clean it up. Like, you need to be way more respectful than that. That is not how you get my attention. And I said something about, like, you can book here. Next thing I know, my shit got. I said, oh, okay. So, y'all, I tried to sue Instagram because that's what a Reddit thread said. Like, the girlies was doing it. My friends was saying, like, what? Instagram. Anyway, the girlies was doing it. It had been successful. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna sue Instagram. And they actually took me to court, and they were like, no. And I was like, oh, okay. So I was a little bummed. That happened in what? That was like March of this year. And so I was bummed. And I was like, fuck Instagram, da da da. And then I finally was like, okay, fuck it. And I got back on Instagram. And it was one of those things that, I've been having a time on Instagram since then. And it was one of those things I just had to do. Like, I just had to, I guess, for better sense, like, recreate that identity. Um, so IG is back up and popping. Um, at Temptress Mango, real simple, real easy. Um, what else do I want to talk about? Oh, so also in the last episode, I was talking about how I went to House of Domina, the first one in New York, and had a great time. It's been up ever fucking since. So House of Domina 2 was this year in May, and we had it in New Orleans. And so it was such a great time. So I think it was like, when I went to the first one, I didn't know nobody. I just knew I had to be in the room. I had to be there. I wanted to experience, and I'm so glad that I did. I did not know a single soul who was going, and then made so many connections. Like, those, a lot of those women that I met, or women and people that I met, are like my people. And I'm so grateful that I did it. So we actually, and it's crazy because it was like, once a bunch of us knew that we were going to the second one, we were like, oh, okay, like, who wants to get a house, right? So it was like one of those situations, like, is it going to make it out the group chat? So it was like 18 of us, like, oh, yeah, 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 let's get a house. 18 femmes in one house. Let's be fucking for real for once in our goddamn lives, please. And so, we're getting closer and closer, and we're like, okay, like, who's going, like, who even wants to, like, tackle this? So I was like, y'all, all right, I'm going to step up, and I'm going to make this my business. So I was like, listen, if you're interested, you need to do this by then. This is when we're voting on the house, because at this point, like, mind you, we started the group chat in like probably January for May. And we were like, oh, we need to do this beforehand. So I'm like, we getting closer and closer to like February. We want to have things paid off by April. I'm like, all right, somebody got to do it. Because people were like, who's going to do it? Who's going to do it? And nobody was saying anything. And I was like, all right, fuck it. Like, I'm going to just take matters into my own hands. So from like 18 or 19, we ended up dwindling down to 10 people. And putting 10 people in a house that have only at this point met, like, some of them we only met that one time in New York. And some of them we made because we knew that we were going to be in a house together, and we were like closer, because like some people are East Coast, some people are Mid Coast, some people are Midwest, some people are like West Coast. So it was like those of us who could actually get together and be intentional about the events we were, like, we made it the point to be like, oh, let's go, like, hang out and stuff. But putting 10 bitches, and if any of y'all bitches come across this, 10 bitches in a house is crazy. It's crazy. But y'all worked out, -1. So it's really 9. But that's a whole other story for a whole other day. Maybe once I figure out a Patreon model, or maybe like a YouTube subscription, whatever, I'll talk more about that. I can't wait for y'all to like actually meet some of the people that I've met and worked with over this past year. But yeah, it was a gamble, but it was one of the best gambles that I took. Like, those women are my people. I love them so much. I'm actually getting ready to see a lot of them next week at the event. So I'm really excited about that and for that. What else? Yeah, so New Orleans was a lot of fun. I got a new car last year. I got a big girl car, so I've been ripping and running up and down the East Coast. I've been to New York. I've been to Atlanta a lot. I went to Atlanta back in September for the Sex Down South conference. That was so much fun. So that was like my second conference. I went to Exotica DC last year for ladies' night, and I didn't know what to expect. I was like, oh my God, it's like a pop-up shop on crack. It was like a lot. Ran into some people. Shout out Naked Trumpeter, shout out Goldie, shout out OMGiana, like peoples, my peoples. But ran into them. So I was like, okay, like my people, I can hang out with them for a little bit. And it kind of just started getting my wheels turning of like, okay, this is the other side of the industry. Like, it's so important too to go outside, y'all. Go outside, touch grass, meet people. So that kind of got my wheels turning, and that was literally a year ago. Yeah, because I think it was like December 3rd was the night that I went. So yeah. Which now here I am a year later. I'm actually going to be teaching, or at the time that this is released, I will have taught. But I'm teaching a seminar at Exotica DC this year, and I'm really excited. That is about food play, how to incorporate food in kink and content. And so how that even started was because, as I was talking about earlier, I had a meeting. I scheduled a separate meeting with content, the creator success team for Clips for Sale, and I was just talking about like how to get more visibility on my Clips for Sale profile, and sh- the person that I talked to, Sarah, she mentioned like, you have a lot of food play content. Like, would you ever be interested in like, have you ever thought about teaching a course? Because there's also FetCon, which is in Florida every year. And like, you could come and teach and like you would get the free pass and stuff and like promo and stuff. And I was like, oh, like what? But it was in Florida. And I was like, because these are things they don't be paying you. It's like the exchange for like free VIP access and like promo and all that stuff, which is like, you have to be an entrepreneur, you got to understand some things, right? So I was like, okay, but there was a lot that was like, for me, it was a lot more con at the time than it was pro. Which is part of also what I'm going to talk about, like shadow work and limiting beliefs and things like that. But there was a lot more against me, like holding me back, a lot self-imposed, but it was a lot holding me back from taking that opportunity. Um, and so I didn't do it, but it just kind of sat in the back of my mind, like, okay, like that might be something. So I actually got the opportunity. Shout out Mrs. Marley. She had offered people like, if you're interested in teaching, like, I do guest instructors. So I put the feeler in the group and was like, is anybody interested in like learning how to, do food play content? And they're like, oh my God, yes, 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 yes. So I was like, okay, bet. Because actually, I went down a food play rabbit hole with the podcast a couple of months ago, well, not months ago, but back when I was more actively doing it, I had did like a sensory Patreon episode. I think it was for Toy Talk, and I was talking about like sensory stuff, and then I went down a food play rabbit hole. So that's kind of where my interest started. And then with the content, it really was just like everything is content. So it's just me eating. And then I started to go a little bit more deeper into that. So then I had presented it like, would anybody be interested in like learning how to do it in kicking content? And everyone's like, oh my God, yes, yes, yes. So put the presentation together. Marley gave me the platform to teach, and it went so well. It went so well. I was beaming. I was excited. I'm still beaming. That was definitely like a pivotal moment for me. So that same workshop that I taught online, I will now be teaching in person at Exotica, and I'm definitely planning on continuing to teach that next year. And like, for me, next year it's definitely moving into an education space and doing more research and like going to conventions and hosting seminars and things like that. So I'm really excited for that growth. But yeah, so back to Sex Down South. Which is, I went there with Black on Black Love, again, shout out Naked Trumpeter, and my peeps. So I went with them, and I had a great time. And that also was like, okay, I can see myself definitely want to like, host a class here next year. And then my grandma fell sick, and so took an emergency trip to Atlanta in October. I've been to Atlanta literally every month since September. So September, went there and also saw my grandma. Then October, took an emergency trip down there, and then November was a funeral. And so now I'll be going back in this month for an event. So definitely Atlanta, just in general. Atlanta's a little busy. It's a little busy. But I got family down there, so I definitely is like, all right, I see myself being in Atlanta a little bit more than I had originally planned to be there. Like Atlanta definitely wasn't a place that was on my radar per se. But I think I've mentioned to y'all my plans to move to Kakalaki, North Carolina. And that is still in the plans, but now I'm kind of like, going back to God and his plans. Because if it was up to me, which is also part of the reason why I was delayed even recording, if it was up to me, I would have been in North Carolina. Like, literally, there was an apartment that was available. Y'all, I'm 29 now. I'm 25. Okay? A bitch is going to be 30 next year. It's crazy. I am still a teenager. Which, according to a study, apparently, like, you're legit, like, you're still technically an adolescent till you're like 32 or 33 or something. There was some study I saw the other day. Neither here nor there. The point is, I'm 25. Where was I? I was talking about North Kakalaki. So there was literally an apartment that was open 2 days before my birthday. So in my delusional head, I was like, oh, absolutely. It's going to be a birthday present to myself. Y'all, I went so far as writing it down. I wrote move-in day in my planner, knowing damn well that logically speaking, that it wasn't any way that was going to happen. But see, again, law of attraction, Delulu, it's mine the moment I decide it's mine. But then there's also so much shadow work that goes behind that, like breaking down unlimited beliefs, which if you've had that if you've had that year, just know that like that is literally what this year is. Like going back on the astrology tip and like planetary energies and stuff, like this year's year of 9 in numerology. It is the year of the snake in the Chinese lunar year. So it's like literally we are breaking down old patterns and like figuring out like who the fuck am I? What the fuck does it even mean? Where do these things like how have we been programmed? Like there's so much, right? So if that has been your year of like, just know you're in alignment, okay? Like, because I don't know how many what the fuck moments I've had. It has been a year, but I honestly would not redo it because I would not have the perspective and I wouldn't understand things the way that I understand them now. Like remembering that everything is a spectrum and like, so one of the examples is like, y'all, I was broke, like broke, like negative bank balance, multiple digits broke, to the point where the bank was like, we gonna shut your account and sue you. You so broke. And so it has still been like, would I say my finances are where I want them to be? Not in this moment. But it was rough. But I also had to kind of understand that if like I'm claiming this millionaire identity and you know knowing that that's going to come, you kind of you like without the storms you or without the rain, you can't enjoy. Y'all know I said it before, but the idea of like that balance and like you can't really appreciate the sun if you don't have the rain. Or if you listen, Inside Out, great movie, great fucking movie, because that the first time I saw Inside Out, the moment when Joy realized you need sadness in life, because when they replayed that like hockey thing where they had lost and Joy was like, I don't like what this is not how I remember it, and it ended with like the team uplifting Riley. It was like had they not lost and Riley not been sad, that moment would not have happened. So it's like that duality and understanding that like it like you hear people with their success stories and all this stuff of like it got so much worse before it got better. So like life be life in, but y'all, we gonna make it out on the other side every single fucking time. So I say that to say is like, at first when I was in the thick of it, I was like, oh my fucking God, like what I'm gonna do. And I'm like going back into this like, I need to control, I need to figure this out, right? And like working. But at the same time, it's like I also left my job, not fully, like I still kind of dabble, like I was a coordinator for a position and I did like other gig-based work and then I stepped down as coordinator and do gig-based work. So I don't have as many hours. So I'm literally like a full-time spicy worker now. Like that has been my life since I stepped down in March. And I've just been winging it. I have been winging it. I will definitely probably go deeper into that once I do come back. Uh I was in a very delusional space. Like, if it's like, okay, I know everything happens for a reason. I know that it was meant for me to do it that way because, again, I wouldn't have the perspective on certain things that I have now. But also, like, and I'll talk more about it when I go into an episode on it, but it's like, I definitely wish that I had prepared more. But I was in such a delusional headspace of like, and that's why I say this law of attraction rabbit hole is something serious. Like, one minute you be feeling like, I'm on top of the world, I could do anything, everything is mine the minute I see it. And then the next minute it's like, all right, but and one of the easiest ways though is like, I think I've talked about it before. I've definitely talked to my cousin about it, of just like this, like, I be saying shit and it comes to fruition. Like, even some of the things I have written down here and I've talked about aimlessly on the podcast, like, it's come to fruition. But the biggest thing with manifestation and like law of attraction is detachment, of like saying it, knowing that it's going to come true, not figuring out, like, it's not your job to figure out how it's going to get done. It's your job to decide it's going to get done. And one of literally the simplest examples that I love to bring up because it just blows my mind, and I've talked about it before, is like, I said I was going to fuck this nigga. There was no logical way. Like, the man lived in a whole nother state. Like, I think I had only met him once. Like, it really was like kind of an internet relationship, and there was no real way for that to happen. And even when like we did kind of meet in person and I shot my shot, like, technically it could have happened there, but it didn't. Like, it literally was just like one random day. He was like, "Oh yeah, I'm in the neighborhood. What's up?" And I was like, "Oh, okay." But like, I said the comment so like aimlessly, like, "Oh yeah, I'm gonna fuck him." Like, before I even met him, I was like, "Yeah, we gonna fuck." And then it happened, right? I wasn't worried about trying to get to him or him getting to me or whatever. It just, like, the opportunity presented itself, right? And I think that's like I just like to say that to spice some shit up. But and I think even like let me get back on here. So some of the things that I wrote down here is like, the episode with it was a mini-sode with Tal and Dixie, and we were talking about like the whole spouse marriage thing, and then we ventured off on some other shit, and somehow we started talking about like, the perfect roster, and I was like, 3 partners. At the time that we recorded that, I was literally only fucking like this one guy, and I was like the homie for real, like, and in my delusional head state though, I had told him like, like, yeah, we're fucking da da da, but there are 2 people that I am interested in. One of them being the guy that I was like, it in my delusional brain, like, oh yeah, it's gonna happen. And the other dude, like, I had previous relations with, but he was also like nowhere to be found, and it was just like, Mango, how is that gonna happen? Don't worry about it, So I had told the homeboy that. And just like aimlessly, then we're having this conversation, me, Tal, and Dixie, about like, oh yeah, what's the perfect roster number? Da, 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 da. And then I actually ended up having 3 partners. One was the partner that I was with at the time. One was one of the partners, like the dude that I had like said I wanted to do, like, we did it, but that didn't come to fruition, right? The other one though was the one that, like, it actually, like, he ended up moving back, and then things just kind of like sparked, and it was like, oh yeah, like, we fucking with each other now, like, we fucking with each other for real now. And then there was like another person, so I was dating 3 people at one time, and again, that was a statement that I like didn't really put too much thought. Well, I did, but I didn't. I wasn't married to that. What else was there? Something that I feel like there was something else that I had wanted to write on here that I had talked about that ended up happening. But yeah, dating 3 people at one time was interesting. It was very interesting. I learned a lot about myself. I learned a lot about interacting with other people. Um it eventually dwindled down to one person. And not even because, like, one person, it just, we weren't agreeing on things. I will put it that way. The other person I just kind of naturally fell off with. Like, he be busy, I be busy. Like, it really be like homegirl, homeboy type vibes anyway. So, and then like the other person was like my person for real. And then, you know, things happened and we had to separate, but like we're still like that's still my dog. And who knows where that'll go. But I'm giving y'all too much, okay? um, but yeah, I think about how like my views on marriage and kids have also, I think in that episode I was also talking about like I don't want to get married, I don't want to have kids. And I'm still kind of like, I'm a lot more open to it now. In my delusional brain, I have a vision of what that could look like for me, because I also like I'm in a selfish season, and that's something else I've been learning about is the importance of being selfish. And so I'm in a selfish season and I've learned so much and I've been having so much fucking fun. Like there's so many things that have come out of me going on this Dom journey full force that I've learned about myself, and that I've learned about the world, that it's like I know that I'm on the right path. Nobody can tell me otherwise. And I've met like some of the people that I went to New Orleans with that are like my best friends. Literally, when we go in Atlanta, like part of the reason why we're taking that trip is because one of them just turned 50. Like there's women that are 60. There are women that are older than that. Like, so if anybody comes across this who's older, like this is literally for anybody. Like it's really about stepping into the highest version of yourself and like reclaiming your power for real. And so it's like me starting at what I was like 26 turning 27, now I'll be turning 30, and I have people who just turned 50, and there's people that are older than that. Like I don't see this ending anytime soon. Like I'm literally like this is just the beginning. Like I'm still a baby Dom. I'm still a baby Dom. And there's so many things that like I have planned for myself and for the community and for just the greater good that I'm constantly evolving, and I can't wait to see what all comes from this. Because thinking back to 2023 when I first decided like let me sign up for this Patreon and let me do some research and let me go to, I would not have thought that I would have done or met any of the shit that I'm doing now, honestly. And I even think about like the stuff that I was like, oh, I would never do that and da da da. And now I'm doing it. Y'all, I pegged. I've been the hoes be calling me Zaddy Mango. Y'all, I've been pegging motherfuckers, okay? Like legit. And it's so funny. I think even that like evolving when I first started is like Mistress Mango, Temptress Mango, and Temptress Mango, the real Mistress Goddess Princess, and evolving that persona has been so much fun, you know, like I think just in general, I am multifaceted. I'm very good at adapting to my environment and learning new things. I'm always wanting to learn new things. And that is part of this, you know, I wrote a blog, a whole, I can tag it below, actually. I'll write my blog, y'all. I published my website this year, mangosparadise.com. Okay, we mean it. We still doing business. We getting legit. If y'all could hear that, excuse that. They doing some renovations in the building, but there's so many things. Okay, I could cross website off, but yeah, like um I've really been taking this time to take this business more seriously, figure out what avenues that I want to go on, finding myself. And so this next year is really about expansion and really getting like, I've been serious, but like, nah, like it's go time for real. And like also just thinking about boundaries and who am I surrounding myself with? What am I surrounding myself with? Um, and having to go back to the importance of femdom spaces, like being around other women and femmes really standing in their power and setting their boundaries and unpacking like all this bullshit that we've been fed and we've been taught. And like, you know, whew, yeah, yeah. I kind of cut myself off there, but definitely focusing on self-concept work and that shadow work and like understanding that I am deserving of any and everything that I want. Like I wouldn't have the desires and the thoughts that I do. And no, none of us would. Like we desire things for a reason, right? And we don't always pursue them because, you know, logically it might not make sense, or we've had people who don't support us, or don't understand. They might support us, but don't necessarily understand the vision, and it's not theirs to understand. And something that I've also learned on this whole like law of attraction rabbit hole is that like people, we all only understand things from our perception. So that's of course like your mom or your cousin or your friend or your partner or your child or whoever isn't going to understand this vision that you have because it's your vision, and it's not necessarily, everybody's interpreting things from where they're at. Everybody's interpreting things from their limiting beliefs, and having to realize that, and realize like there's a lot that I did not realize that I was holding on to, that I was like, oh, okay. And so to go back to the whole finances thing and the quitting my job and like going into full-time sex work, like I was in a really delusional state, and I was like, oh, this is mine the moment I have it. Because y'all, last year December, y'all remember I was talking about that ass slave, that the first call I had with him on Night Flirt was January last year for the last like 4 minutes, very awkward, hung up the call, didn't talk to him again until like May. I think it was like maybe twice in May he called me. Then I didn't hear from him again until like September. And then I don't think I heard from him again until maybe November, or that I might be making that up. But in December, I was at one of my jobs and he happened to like message. That is the one sub. This is the thing with Night Flirt, right? I have it plastered, like text me first, but I also have to remember that Night Flirt is a ancient phone sex operation site. So like some people don't get online to call or text you. They legit like they call a hotline number and then they listen to the first couple of calls and then that's who they decide to talk. So some people don't know that like you want them to chat first, or the way that they're engaging with a platform, which I didn't know that at first, but the way that they're engaging with the platform doesn't necessarily allow them to chat. With this sub, he will always message me first, like, Goddess, can I have permission? And I was like, I would be milking the shit out of him, like, oh, I don't think so. I don't think you're ready. I don't think you deserve it. Show me how much you want it. And I would milk him with tributes first. So he tipped me and tipped me and tipped me. And I was like, okay, you can call. So he had tipped me. He's like, please, Goddess, I need your ebony ass. Da, da, da. You can raise your rates to whatever. And then he had tipped me $100, but I was at work and I did not get that notification until like hours later. So I was like, shit. So when he said, he was like, he messaged me and he was like, no, seriously, like raise your rates to whatever you want. I was like, you ain't saying no but a word. So I tried, y'all. I was trying to milk this motherfucker. I tried to raise my rates to $150 per minute, but Night Flirt was like, slow your roll, slow your fucking roll, $50 max. I was like, okay, cool. So I rose it to 50. Y'all, on Christmas Eve, this man messaged me and he's like, Goddess, da, 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 like, please, I need your ass. I need to worship you, this or whatever. So I'm just like, like, prove it. I don't think you're ready. I don't think you deserve it. Shit like that. Like, you're so pathetic. Show me how bad you want it. Stuff like that. And he's just like tipping, right? And so normally, again, like, I'll milk him for a little bit and then I'll give him permission to call. So I think at this point, he had tipped me, I want to say $600. Mind you, this is all within like this whole interaction that I'm talking about was less than 30 minutes. Like it might have been a 15-minute interval. So he's like tipping. He's at $600. So I was about to be like, hell yeah, you can call me, right? But I got distracted. Thank God the ADBHD. Because then I come back to the phone. He's like, please, I need your ass, Goddess. Tips me another $400. Fuck yeah, you can call me, nigga. Hit my line. Make my fucking shit ring, bling, hotline, all that shit, okay? Make it ring. So he calls me. The call lasted all of like, what, 4 minutes? Because it was $50 per minute. Or it was like 4 going on 5 minutes. So I ended up getting like $250 out of that call. So in 15 minutes, this man spent $1,200 on me. Which after taxes and stuff, I really got like 900. But the point is, I was like, oh. So that's also what was fueling my delusional thinking. I was like, oh, it's easy. Like in my head, I was like, okay, well, if I like, all I really need is like to just be okay. I need like 3 calls like this a month. if we really just being lazy. Okay, I need 3 calls like this a month. And so I was like, oh, this is doable. Like at that point I was like, I've also been doing muscle content. Okay, like don't play with it. Don't play with it. I made a video today of my titties bouncing, but anyway, yeah, so I was like, oh fuck yeah, like you can't tell me nothing, like millionaire in the month, like stop fucking playing with it. Like I really, that's the type of time I was on. And then I ain't heard from that man since. Let's talk about he post nut clarity for real. And I've been like trying to taunt him over the course of the year. So we'll see what happens. But yeah, that was the energy I was on. Um and where why did I bring that part up? Um I was talking about shadow work, I was talking about full-time sex work and finances and oh, feminine energy. So that's another thing. Like I've really been in part of my learning or unlearning and remembering who I am, what my purpose is. Like when I think about young Mango, like what does she really want to do? What does she find joy in? And going back into that. And we hear all the time about how people be living a easy life or a soft life and be making so much money. And like even when this one dude that I used to date, like it sometimes used to low key frustrate me that like, I went to school, got my degree, did all of this, and he went to school, he didn't graduate, he left and actually joined the army, and then through the army, like he still never had like a college degree, but he had like credentials there. And that's not to discredit anybody that goes into the military, but it was like he had like this super high-end official job, was getting paid like buku fucking crazy money. And honestly, you could like he really technically wasn't qualified for his job. Like when he used to come home, he used to tell me all he would do is sleep. Like, oh yeah, like yeah, I worked a 12-hour day, but I would sleep for like 8 of them hours. Meanwhile, I'm dealing with baby's kids. Like, what do you mean? Like, and I'm still like, it was and having gotten watching my mom as a single mom work and having the minute I turned 15 and 9 months, I had, I think, because yeah, I think you could actually, I think if you have a work permit, you can get a job. But 15 to 9 months is when I got my driver's permit. But when I turned 16, I went and got my first job and I've been working ever since. Like I've had a job ever since. And, I'm used to working for my money, being busy, doing things like sitting down for me. Man, when COVID first hit, I was struggling. I was, excuse me, struggling. Y'all just got a free burp. If you be burping, that's content right there. But I be, I am used to like working and figuring out, even during the pandemic, like it was like, okay, I was still getting a paycheck from teaching, but then I was still doing Instacart. Like I could not sit down. I would not sit down. That's a better phrasing. I would not sit down. And so I'm so used to like working, having multiple jobs. Even when I was a teacher, I still had side jobs. So it was like, I've been so programmed to like work, and like also always kind of like feeling like I never had enough, but money was always coming in. And now I'm at a space where I'm like intentional about no, I need to slow down. I need to stop doing all of this because part of me working all these jobs is also me trying to exert control over the situations. So yeah, there's a lot there. So it was like, I got into like frequency work, going down another deep rabbit hole, frequencies and energies and all this other stuff and gamma waves, theta waves, all the it's fun. I'm very grateful. It's very interesting. Things make a lot more sense, but it is that kind of like, once you go on the consciousness deep dive and you can start to see things for what they are, it's very rewarding, but it can be frustrating at times. It can be. And yeah, I kind of forgot where I was going with that. But that's really embodying feminine energy and like has been the challenge this year for sure of understanding that things should be coming easier, and I should be having more fun and not being frustrated, you know. Going down, I know I talked about human design at one point in an episode. I've also gone down that rabbit hole, and it still is a little bit more confusing, but I do have a better understanding, and there's like so much more that goes into it. But like one of the simple things is that, like, or not simple, but like something that I took a deeper dive into is like the variable arrow. So when you have your human design chart, you have like the body, and then you have like one side that's supposed to be conscious and one side that's supposed to be unconscious. And then like you have these arrows that are like near the head space, and they point in different directions. And I believe that all of my arrows are right facing, which means basically what that is meaning is that I program better when things are free flowing, and not like, that's why I could never stick to a routine. I be telling myself all the time, like, oh yeah, I'm gonna stick to this 30-day yoga routine, or I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that. Day 3, I be like, who said that, and why would they say that shit? Why would you shut the fuck up talking to me? Why would you ever say that? Like, I be struggling. And so once I realized, I was like, oh, okay, that makes more sense. And like, you know, one of the other things that are kind of like a small thing is like, and all of this is based on the white man. So if you decide to go on any rabbit holes, just be aware of who is saying it, the time period. You know, do your own research, okay? But one of the suggestions too is to eat more cold foods. So like a simple conversation, and it wasn't until I had like read that I was like, oh wait a minute, like sometimes I'll eat leftovers straight out the fridge. Fuck a microwave, fuck a toaster oven, fuck a heater or an air fryer. Like chicken, cold chicken hate to see me coming, bro. Like I be okay, I be tearing cold chicken up. So I've been experimenting with that. Y'all, I don't know if I've talked about being a picky eater, but actually, so before I get into that, sidebar, I'm not in school. I decided to take a break. Part of that was finances. Part of that was also thinking that I was going to be in North Carolina already. And so I decided to take a break. And I've also, but one of the main reasons too is, and part of the reason why I left teaching as well, knowing that I didn't want to teach forever, I don't know how much of me actually wants to become a licensed therapist. And so just with like teaching, you have to keep getting certifications. But like with teaching, at least in the state of Maryland, you get your degree, you get your certification, you have to renew every 5 years. But I think it's like every year you do have to like prove, it's either every year or every 2 years you have to, no, it's every year. You have to prove like continuing education credits, but you have to actually renew your license every 5. With um therapy, at least in Maryland, I don't know where else, but you have to do the continuing education credits every year, I believe, and you have to renew your license every 2 years. The fuck? So I was like, okay, like I definitely am not committed to do that. And also another reason why I love teaching too is like the ethical considerations with that, given, you know, having sex work and wanting to do all that I do is like, you know, just being mindful of that. So, you know, definitely still approaching art as therapy instead of like an art therapist. And also BB Bad Bitch, shout out Mistress Bad Bitch. She's actually doing a certification program where she is working with, it's like licensed therapists and professional doms are like taking this course to kind of like learn from each other, and it's like some kind of certification. So I say all that to say is like there's always another way to navigate things. So I definitely feel myself going down more of like a certification route versus getting licensure. That's not something that I necessarily want to do, which is why I decided to take a break from school. And so I definitely plan on finishing my master's, but I decided that that's just not, you know, what I need to be doing right now. And, you know, again, part of it being, you know, part of that being like, oh, I'm going to move to North Carolina, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. But it's like, definitely when I think about how all of this year went, you know, maybe it would have went different had I still been in school. But for the most part, it's like, I can't imagine having to deal with like, you know, how I said earlier with I don't know where I would be spiritually without sex work. I don't know where I would be with a lot of things if I was still in school, but some of the things that I know probably were inevitable of happening, I don't know how I would have dealt with that if I was in school too. So being grateful that I'm not in school, like of course I miss it. Some of my cohort members graduated and are like actual therapists now, and I'm so happy for them. But yeah, so I intend to finish and get my master's, but it's not a rush for me. So if I get my master's in 4 years from now, I'm fine with that, you know. Um, but I brought that up. It's getting cold in here, so cold. So put on your fucking coat. I am getting so cold. I need to put a coat on. Little bird, with a little bit of bird. Mango just fall out with a little bit of bird, with a little bit of Okay, sorry, y'all. Y'all miss me. I was. Let me see. I was talking about school. Oh, I never really finished the MGP thing. I was talking about school certifications. Maybe it'll come back to me. Um, but oh, that's what I was talking about. So, in school, I I think it might have actually been. I feel like it was during psychopathology, but it didn't. I learned about it in psychopathology, and it's called. Did I? Okay, yes. So I was still recording episodes when I learned about it. So it's a eating disorder called ARFID, which is avoidant restrictive intake food, avoidant and restrictive food intake disorder. So I first learned about it in psychopathology and then never really paid attention to it. And I'm sure that y'all saw the little girl Hannah. Like, she's so adorable. And she's like basically documenting her ARFID journey of like her trying new foods. And so she started to come across my timeline at the same time that I was taking trauma, which I took trauma earlier this year. And so not diagnosing myself, but one of the things like I realized that like I might actually have an eating disorder, avoidant in avoidant type. So it's like it's a food intake disorder, and then there's like avoidant type and restrictive type. So I would say if I were to diagnose myself, I would have avoidant food intake disorder because one of the criteria is like you avoid foods based on like sensory things like texture, smell, perceived taste and things like that. So for me, a lot of the things, and I don't know if I've talked about this on here before, but I would tell people all the time, like, I'm a picky eater. Like, I don't eat certain things, like even something as simple as carrots. So like I prefer my carrots raw over cooked. I hate to see a steamed carrot coming. Like, and I still don't like it. Onions, for example, like I will cook with onions, but I don't want to eat them. What's something else? Y'all, I just started eating. I know somebody probably gonna laugh me out, but I just started eating spaghetti. Like, I've been eating spaghetti for probably about a year now. And for me, I really didn't like marinara sauce. Like, if it's not on pizza, I don't want it. And apparently I used to eat spaghetti when I was younger, but at some point in my life I was like, fuck that shit. So, um, yeah. So it hit me that this might be what I've been dealing with my whole life because my partner at the time, I was at his house and his mom had made some food. She made meatloaf. And you know, meatloaf be having like the onions and the green peppers in it. And I'm sitting here like, I don't want to be disrespectful to this lady because she just cooked. And she's one of them mamas that like, you not about to sit in our house while we eating and you not eating, especially if you've been here for a while and I know you didn't eat. Like, you're going to fucking eat. So I was like, okay. So she amazes in there, and I'm like, I don't even eat my mama's meatloaf. Like, I don't know. And so I'm sitting there, and I have the plate. I'm like, okay, I can't really be disrespectful. I don't want to be disrespectful. And it's green peppers and onions just staring at me, just like, yeah, bitch, we in here. You gonna eat us. And I'm just like, oh my God. So I'm literally having this internal battle. And that's when it hit me of like, is it really that deep? Like, it's been that deep for me. So then there was like another time where she had gotten, I think she made spaghetti, and I was like, shit, okay. Then there was another time where they had ordered shrimp fried rice, and when I get shrimp fried rice, I like the shrimp, the rice, the egg keep the vegetables. Don't want no bean sprouts. I really don't want no fucking bean sprouts, okay? I'll never get over bean sprouts. I don't want bean sprouts. So they got it, and it was like these onions were staring me in the face, and I'm literally sitting here just like, I was kind of like pushing some to the side, and the other ones I'm legit like staring at my plate, like having a pep talk, like, it's just an onion, it's not gonna kill you, you are okay, you are alive, you're still breathing, like the world's not falling apart, legitimately inside my head. And that's when it hit me, like, there might be something more here. So that's why I started being a lot more intentional about trying new foods and like it being okay. So I ended up getting like a quesadilla, and I'm real quick to be like, oh, modifications. Like, I hate going to a restaurant, like, cuz I'm pretty, I can go almost anywhere and find something on the menu, but I really hate when a restaurant is like no modifications. So we went to like a Surfside. It was me and Deshaun. Shout out to Deshaun. We went to a Surfside. We was out on 8th Street one night, and before we actually got to 8th Street, we were like, we need to eat something. So we go there, and I got this quesadilla, and it had all types of peppers in there. But a bitch was hungry and a little crunk. So I devoured that thing. So anyway, um, yeah. So now I eat spaghetti. I actually had spaghetti the other day. I've been tearing spaghetti up, y'all. And I think it's so funny that I really was like anti-spaghetti for years, and I be tearing that shit up. Um, and I made at-home Chipotle one day for me and my mom. And she likes her fajitas. I'm still not like, I don't necessarily care for onions still, but I am more willing to eat them. I still don't really care for green peppers, but more willing to eat them. I do prefer them to be like softer and smaller as a big to like larger and crunchier. So she likes fajitas, and the recipe called for like green peppers, red peppers, and onions. So got all that stuff, not thinking anything of it. And my mom is like, girl, I don't eat red peppers. And I'm like, so then also me like, trying to be more connected with the earth and being more mindful about the things that I'm wasting. So I was like, okay, well, I bought this whole ass red pepper. Like, I don't want to waste it. So I cut it up, and I was like, okay. So I'm like, y'all, I need fucking red peppers up now. Like, I will go to the store and get red peppers and cut up and snack on it like it's a fucking carrot. They are so good. They're so good. And my mom and my sister be like, who is she? And I be like, you damn Skippy. I be fucking that shit up. It's so good. Like, I spent my whole life not eating this shit. That's crazy. Another thing, another moment, and y'all gonna be like, Mango, what the fuck? Y'all should be used to that by now. As an adult, I finished, and I am about to finish bottle number 2, my first bottle of lotion. Yeah, one thing about me, if it wasn't showing, I wasn't putting lotion on it. And I honestly can't tell you, like, I've never finished a bottle of lotion in my life. I don't know whatever happened to all the bottles of lotion that I had, but I've never finished a bottle of lotion. I finished my first bottle of lotion a couple months ago. I think like back in October, the beginning of October, I think. Or maybe the end of September, finished my first bottle of lotion, and I'm about to finish my second bottle of lotion. Okay. Oh, the girl is moisturized. Don't fucking play with me. But yeah, like, my friends used to clown me all the time. My mom used to clown me all the time. Like, bitch, you was ashy. What are you doing? Like, Oscar Proud starting to fire with his feet. That could have been me with my kneecaps for sure. If it was not showing, it don't need lotion. That's how I was really feeling. Um, but we're a big girl now, okay? We're a big girl now. Um, yeah, so with North Carolina, part of that not wanting, having thought I was already going to be there, but also just kind of where I'm at right now, it's like I'm enjoying traveling, and so considering being nomadic for what, that's where I am right now, being nomadic. Kind of just the past couple months have just been so much is going on, so I'm moving around everywhere. I've been to Pennsylvania a little bit, staying with Mistress Bad Bitch, and then like I said, I've been to Atlanta so many times, and then just kind of like hopping around. So yeah, we'll see. I've been to North Carolina a few times as well. So we'll just continue to see where that goes. But definitely, I think I've talked about it. Like, my long-term goal for sure is to have dual residency in Maryland and North Carolina, and like definitely build upon the art and the dom stuff. So stay tuned for that. Um, Y'all, I talked about pegging. Oh, so back to the Mistress Goddess Princess thing. I will tag my blog. Um, but um being okay being called temptress, being okay being called mistress and princess and goddess. And at first I wasn't really feeling the mommy mango, but I had somebody approach me like, can I call you mommy mango, please? And I was like, you know what? The double M, like, okay, we love some good alliteration. Like mommy mango is cool. And I can be like nice. Like I still think, can I be sadistic and mean? Absolutely. And sometimes when the camera come on, I just start yelling at people like, what the fuck are you doing? You pathetic little bitch. Get on your fucking knees and lick my boot, bitch. Why the fuck are you talking to me? Like, treating motherfuckers like fucking kickbags. I like to, y'all, I've been punching the shit out of balls. Like, um, so sometimes it just takes over me. But for the most part, I still am like another evolution is like when I first started, I was like, oh my God, what do you mean humiliate people? And I'd be like, bitch, look at you fucking pathetic ass bitch. Like, what are you looking at me for? Why are you breathing the same air as me? Look at that shit. Look at that shit in your pants. You call that a dick? You call that a dick? You have the audacity to be going to work thinking you the big fucking man, telling people what to do, and you got a motherfucking clit in your pants. My clit is bigger than yours, bitch. Which is funny because one thing at a time, Mango. So anyway, yeah, so Mommy Mango grew on me. And then I had this one sub that kept calling me on Night Flirt. And this motherfucker would be like, he would call and be like, Daddy Mango, I want to suck your strap and suck your toes. Like he would talk so fast and so low that I would just be like, what the fuck? Like a call with him never lasted over 3 minutes. He would legit call me and just start rapid fire calling me, Daddy Mango, can I please suck your strap? I want to suck your strap so bad. And it was crazy. I was like, you are unhinged. And it was like, it was to the point where it wasn't even worth it. So I just blocked him. Like it was annoying. And he would call me like back to back. If I didn't answer, because for a while I forgot to save Night Flirt in my phone. So he would call me back to back to back to back to back to back to back. All to rap for maybe 2 minutes. Like I'm not even legitimately getting like $6 from a phone call with you. So I blocked him because shut the fuck up talking to me. Literally. But then, like Daddy Mango started to have a ring to it. And then I started like pegging people and I'd be like, yeah, call me daddy, bitch. And now all my friends shout out Cherry, my sorbet, and Mistress Bad Bitch. Them two, they love calling me Daddy Mango. It is so funny. They're like, yeah, Daddy Mango. So Daddy Mango is fun. Daddy Mango is fun. I really enjoy them. Um, yes. So what else do I have here? Yeah, I think I've talked about Alonzo Davis, the artist that I used to work with. He passed away this year as well. Like this year being the year of nine, being the year that is overseen by Oya. To anyone who's in like, into ATRs or that realm of spirituality. A lot of people have dealt with death this year. That has been a lot. So starting off the year with that, and then ending the year with my grandma's death, and there's still like so much time still left. Like there's like still like 3 weeks left and a lot can happen. So it's definitely, and I've talked about death before, it's just like being for me at some point, which again, this is helping me, um, when I think about the sky looks so pretty right now. Spirituality, like I lost a lot of my friends at a younger age a couple years back. And for me, it was like, I started to really take that and it's like, what was my favorite aspects and what were my favorite parts of them, or what did they teach me that I can now carry on to really remember them and to like revere them and honor them. So with this year also being, me getting deeper into ancestor veneration and things, and like thinking about if anybody is also like, if you are interested in like spirituality, and I think a really good book to read is the Book of Juju by Juju Bay. Beautiful book. I think she definitely explains everything well. That was a book that like helped me be like, oh, okay, I understand, and it's helped me. I actually plan on rereading it to help me kind of reevaluate I think that might be the word. But you know, when we think of ancestors, like of course you have your ancestors who are like your blood relatives, and thinking of how also taking trauma this year and understanding like how trauma is stored in the body, and how like we have trauma from literally like generations ago that are still there, and like understanding having like your limiting beliefs and the things that are holding you back go way deeper than you. And when you have those realizations, like I had a realization, I'm not going to share it, but I had a realization this year that was like, whoa. And it was like, I would have never said that out loud, because it was just like, how dare you say that? But I was like, wait a minute, like, this is what's present for you, this is what's present for me, and it's neither of our faults. And like also understanding like, so where do we go from there? But anyway, um yeah, and so when I think about ancestry too, I think she also does in the book of Juju, I think she does a great job as well of explaining like ancestry, and understanding that also like the planet is our ancestor, because this is our home. Like for years before capitalism and other things, colonialism and all those things, we won't go down that rabbit hole, but it was like, you know, we as humans co-created with the earth. Literally everything that we do need is in the earth, but because of all these things that have come into place over the years and conquering and all of that, it's like we've been so conditioned to think that like you can only survive and do things with money. But really getting back to the root of like the earth really does have everything we need. um so thinking of the earth as your ancestor, and like what are you doing to take care of the earth as well, or thinking of like the friends, or thinking of even like, you know, people like Maya Angelou or Cicely Tyson or Frederick Douglass, or you know, other people who have influenced you directly, or influenced like your generation or your people, or have paved the way for you to do and be as you are now. And so also thinking of like, thinking of yourself as like a future ancestor. What are you doing for people like the next bless me, um what are you doing for the people that are coming after you, whether you want to have kids or not? Like you're still an ancestor, you're still like going back to God and church and things. It's like we are still supposed to be in service to others. And so sometimes that service for us, thinking about human design, sometimes that service is like exploring your heart and what you want to do and what can you produce, and that will serve other people. So like really following your joy. But some of us are programmed to be like, we're supposed to co-create with people in the moment, and that is our service. And we're supposed to like be like everything. Coincidences don't, I don't know why that was such a struggle. But coincidences don't exist, and like we meet everything. I've talked about this before, is like everything happens for a reason. We are in situations where, you know, even whoever comes across this, like there's something in here that you're gonna get, that maybe you've already been thinking about, or and something I've said it, the way I've said it clicked, or maybe like it might not click till later till you come across something else. But like the point is, everything comes in our field for a reason. Going back to perceptions, like certain things don't make sense until like you've like basically blocked out a distortion. Another podcast that I was listening to, like I went on a rabbit hole with frequencies, is Mastering Your World Through Frequencies by Karen Chong. And the idea that like we are basically, we do live in a simulation. And the human body, thinking of the human body as the vessel, like the 3D rendition, but like we really are like a spirit, and our spirit body is around us. I'm not going to go in the rabbit hole, you, because it's a serious rabbit hole. But the point is, we live in a simulation. Everything's frequency, everything's energy. And so like with the spirit body, she's talking about, and also talking about, you know, to make it more practical, people don't understand you because we have our distortions, and those distortions can come from those limiting beliefs or circumstances, like things that we have been through that went a certain way, or passed down through generations and things like that. And so we have to like, the whole point of humanness, and you know, is connecting back to our higher selves and connecting to what is our purpose, what brings us joy. So I'm gonna stop with that rabbit hole, because I could go on and on. Y'all, I had my first virtual session earlier this year. It was on what was it, premium chat. This dude cold called me. I hate a cold call. I really hate it. This dude cold called me, and he's just like winking off, like a little clit dick. And the crazy part was I was sitting at like breakfast. I was at the table with my mom eating breakfast, and then my phone rings, but I was like, gotta get to the bag, can't, like, gotta pick up the phone. So I like run in the back room. I'm like literally tripping over shit to answer the phone. I answer the fucking video call, and it's a dick in the screen. I'm like, what the fuck? So he's just like winking off, and at first I'm like, but I had to like, step into Mistress Mango, and I was like, who the fuck told you could like fucking wink your dick? So he's like sitting here just like jacking off, and so I'm just like, all right, we gonna make it an SPH. So I'm like laughing at him and making fun of him having a small dick. Like, what are you even doing? You've been jacking off so hard, like, and it's still not hard. Da, da, da. So then eventually he turns his mic on. He's like, can you give me a countdown, please? And so I'm like counting down, and then I guess he like ejaculates or whatever, and then he hangs up. And that call lasted all of like maybe 5 minutes. I got $120 from it. Like, so hell yeah, I was delusional. I was like, oh, this is life. Between the night flirt call and that, I was like, oh, I'm a rich bitch. You ain't said nothing but a word. And here we are. Something else that I did last year, I created a digital journal. I put a lot of work into that. I've made 2 sales. I'm very grateful. So the first sale was actually a pre-sale. I was like advertising it at a pop-up shop, and somebody bought it. And then once I like actually released it, she came back to the Etsy and repurchased it as a gift for somebody else. So I'm still kind of figuring out like, all right, like I put a lot of work into this. This was a lot of fun to make. I do want it to, the way that I designed it, because it is a art is therapy journal, but I wanted to do like, digital products are the thing. We want multiple streams of income. We want to make, that's part of a soft life. Resting easy is like, you want your money to work for you in your sleep. That's part of like stepping into that, feminine energy is like, we are meant to like explore the world, going back to that spirit thing. Like, we're meant to explore and like co-create and just see what life has to offer. And like, we can't do that if we're frustrated and bogged down and burnt out and stressed out and upset and angry all the fucking time because of, trying to get all these things done. And so really trying to learn how to balance that. But yeah, so ideally, I want the journal to be like a hard copy. But since it is like an art journal too, I've been kind of particular about wanting the paper to be a certain kind of way, but whatever. So working on making that like a hard copy thing. I had started with like the Amazon book stuff, but for whatever reasons, like they were not accepting my cover page. So I gotta go back to the drawing board for that one. I've been learning fire play. I have a fire play partner. That's fun. We had started doing that, and then with everything happening with my grandma, we kind of took a break from that. So definitely want to get back into that. What else do I want to talk about? I had kind of teased about it. They were like, I definitely want, next year for me is definitely about going down the education route more, because that's definitely something I love teaching. I've always said I wanted to be a teacher. It's something that I do very well at. I am a very good teacher. So definitely expanding that part of my business, but like really getting serious about my business and hosting events and bringing things. So I kind of talked about some of the different events that I would want to host. And I thought that I was going to be able to put together an event this month, and that really isn't planning out how I thought. So yeah, I'm not going to talk too much about that, but I wrote it down. So I was like, let me tease. Oh, another opportunity that I had, again, shout out Mistress Marley. Her goddess brunch for DC earlier this year in June. We collaborated. We had our first collaboration, and I actually helped. So I had like created this mural, and it was like a community mural. So I had kind of worked with her beforehand, but she gave me like free will to be like, oh, I want to be just as surprised as everybody else. So the idea was like building community and goddess energy and stepping into your power and things. So I created this mural and then brought it to the event, and like as the event was running, the people who attended like were welcome to come up and like help paint. So that was a really dope opportunity. And that also kind of gave me ideas of like events that I could possibly throw. So I'm just really excited to go down that as well. I I guess some of the things I kind of mentioned it earlier because I'm trying to wrap up. And here I thought it was gonna be like a 15-minute. But I missed this. I missed y'all. Um Oh, when I'm thinking about formatting too, so part of it has been like just every time I think like, oh, I'm gonna record an episode, life be lifing, and then it's like, oh, I want to talk about this too. I want to do this, da da da. And not just necessarily still being in a nomadic space, like ever since I moved out, like still not being really where I want to be. Um, then having that be kind of against me. And then as I'm taking this next step of really pulling together like this with that, like the podcast, and really getting my LLC in order and getting like getting my business structure in order for real. And thinking about like how do I want to utilize my YouTube? Because part of me was like, oh, I'm gonna start a whole separate YouTube for Temptress Mango and really doing there. But I'm like, the same shit that I would talk about on a separate YouTube page is the same shit that I'd be talking about on this podcast. Like legit the same shit. And that's just more work for me. And the whole point is making my life easier. Like I love the editing. I love recording content, whether it's for the podcast or whether it's the crazy shit I be doing for my sites. Like I really do enjoy it. Part of me is like, I'm considering getting like an assistant, which is part of like me going into the business structure of like hiring somebody to do the work. But also it's like I have so much fun with it. And so still figuring it out. But anyway, I'm thinking of like maybe once I do come back, maybe a bi-weekly, and then maybe just like many things. Like one of the things that I had recorded for Temptress Mango, it was like I did the flower petal. I'll insert a picture here. But I did like the flower petal hairstyle, and I had recorded myself doing it because I was trying to look up a tutorial because I be doing my own hair now, y'all. Well, I've been doing my own hair, but like really been doing my own hair, and I've really been trying to be like, damn it, been really trying to be extra cute about it. And somebody's smoking weed. They smoking that ganja. Okay. I've also taken a break from smoking weed. I still be smoking here and there, but I don't smoke as much as I used to. Um, but anyway, um, so my idea was like, oh, I was trying to figure out how to do the hair petal style, and literally I could only find one video of it. So I recorded myself doing the hairstyle, and I was like, oh, kind of like making a second part of my original Instagram of like doing like, oh, the locks, and it would be I'm doing hairstyles, and then I do like a story time voiceover over it. So just telling stories of subs and stuff. So I say that to say is that like once I do come back to this and decide to be like more intentional about what season 3 is going to look like, I at least right now I'm thinking it might be more like bi-weekly yapping episodes, and then like dabble in some like quick updates. Hopefully they can be quick. Or just like story time things and making like kind of like a lifestyle. So we'll see. I don't really know what that looks like just yet. But I am going to end off on a story time. So again, shout out Mistress Bad Bitch. She's been throwing parties at her dungeon, and I think I've gone to every single one. I feel like I've been to everyone. Yeah, I have been to everyone that she's had. So there was a sub who came, and he's into like foot fetish and humiliation and stuff, and he's just like Indian guy, and he's just so funny. He's like, hello goddess, I'm into foot worship and humiliation. I want feet in my face, I want this and that, whatever. So legit, like this man lays on the ground and I just stick my feet in his face. And I'm like, you like that bitch? He's like, yes, I'm a beta bitch. I only deserve to smell your feet. It's so funny. And I'm just like literally like rubbing my feet in his face. And I'm like, what does it smell like? Sniff it harder, bitch. And then he likes his hair pulled. So so it was like he also has like this collar. So he'll put the collar on and hand me the leash. And he was like, at one point I told him to get up because he's into like foot worship and spanking and humiliation. And so I like told him to get up, and I'm like walking him, and then I end up like sitting on his back, and I'm like making him like speed up, bitch, while I have my foot in his face, making him like sniff and crawl at the same time. And then I like take my other foot and I'm like yanking his hair as I'm. It was crazy. Like these parties get crazy, and we be having so much fun. So that was like a lot of fun. And then the next party that I saw him at, he like, so I also found out he's like into service and like feminization and stuff. But it was like something, I guess it was like a couple of doms there, and we're all teasing him, and he's just like sitting on the ground. He has my feet in his face, and then like somebody else has her feet on his body, and then like somehow he ends up with his pants off. Y'all, his belt buckle was bigger than his dick. Like legitimately. Like I was sitting there and I saw something shine at the corner of my eye, so I looked. And it took me a second. I'm like, what am I even looking at? And then I was like, is that your dick? Like it looked, y'all, it was legitimately smaller than his belt buckle. And that's what I'm talking about. Like the amount of tiny dicks I've seen, like, don't let no man tell you what to do. Don't let no man. Because honestly, even if he got a big dick, still don't let him tell you what to do. Because some of these niggas are growers, not showers. And even when they be showing before they grow, like, just because you got a dick don't mean you can tell me what to do. Like, because I literally be beating niggas up and whatever fuck else. So yeah, you can't tell me shit. You can't tell me nothing. All right? Because the amount of niggas that really do be walking around here with fucking shrimps, and y'all be sitting here trying to tell people what to do, thinking y'all they were trying to compensate. But yeah, so it was like, damn, like you really don't got a dick, nigga. Like it was crazy. And then somehow, y'all, I had my first golden shower. I did piss on him. I did. That was something else I didn't really think that I would be into. But we made him sit in the shower. And I was like, close your eyes because you're not seeing my hoo-ha. And then I just like squatted over his body and pissed on him. And then I like a dog just kind of like, and then walked away and went about my day. So yeah, that is how my year's been so far. I don't really think there's much else. Just still kind of like, going through, you gotta grow, you gotta go through it to grow through it. I believe that's the saying. There was a quote that I wrote down because I like, when I was prepping for this, I looked at my calendar to be like, okay, like what all happened this year because it was so busy. And something I wrote down was obstacles are what you see when you take your eyes off the goal. And so to kind of culminate, Mango's message, I guess, is like, this year has been a year and there's still so much that could happen. But I'm always just so excited to see what else could happen. And I'm at the point with like truly understanding that the universe is always working in your favor and everything is about perspective. Every single thing is about perspective. And sometimes we are so wrapped up in our emotions, especially those negative ones, and we get hung up in those and we stir on them, we stir on them, and then it brings our energy down, or it makes us focus on like, how can we control this? Like, when really the only thing we do have control over is how we feel, and choosing how to perceive things to make us feel better about them, or make, at least if not better, make us feel neutral, and understanding that thing of like, it's always going to get better. It's always working for us, whether we see it in that moment or not. Like I could think about, some things that happened last year that were like really scary as fuck. Like something happened to one of my partners that was a really scary moment, and it changed a lot for all parties involved. But it was one of those things that had this not happened, then we wouldn't have found out about this when we needed to find out about that. And so like figuring out how to move through that. And now even it's like, well, that happened and look what it's brought up. And so maybe that's what we need to focus on. So it's just like choosing what to focus on. And when we think about the goal, like, is the goal a specific thing of like, I want to achieve this? And like right now, like I'm saying, like I really, the full-time sex work and this empire that I'm building, like I see the vision and the 3D is like, bitch, please. But I'm holding on to that and understanding that it's only a matter of time. Like it's already mine because I said it was mine. I'm just kind of like going through the motions and understanding the motions and being grateful for the motions, for opening my eyes to other things so that I can continue to move forward with clarity. Or whether that goal is to be in a better emotional state, releasing anger, releasing sadness, releasing shame, releasing guilt, like releasing these negative emotions and opting for more positive feeling emotions. But yeah, that's all I got. It's cold as shit and the sun going down. Um, and yeah, so make sure you're following me on Instagram, two scrippers, one pole. Two SKRPPAS, one POLE. Um, Stories, questions, topics, two scrippers, one pole at gmail.com. Balesa, I don't do Balesa anymore. Is there anything else? That was really just subscribe, comment, do that. Um, and that's it. That's it, y'all.